10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1. And we're live. Hopefully.
Welcome, hopefully. now
you
I
never know.
have doubts. Welcome to a Rich Alvarez live stream. Let me just refresh this on my end so I can see if we're live.
Gotta make sure we can see ourselves, because every once in a while.
And we're still waiting for Rich Alvarez. You didn't hit the wrong stream, did you,
Let
Chris?
me make sure I didn't hit the wrong stream.
Chris is going to make sure that we're
stream?
actually live. Don't worry. We're just having some technological differences over here. Oh, wait. Here we go. Here we go. We got it.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Sometimes we think we're live and we're not live, but then we are live.
Happens to the best of us.
We have our stream up, and we're seeing an advertisement right now. So once we get past this, we'll know if we're actually live or not.
Yep.
And, oh, good, we are. Okay. Yeah, because every once in a while, the way that things are set up in our Prism app, I think that I'm hitting go live, and then I do it on the wrong stream. But I did it right this time, so we're good.
Okay, so we're all good. We're all good. Anyways, welcome to the Rich Alvarez channel and another fantastic Rich Alvarez stream. I am Rich Alvarez. With me as always is Chris.
And it looks like we got a few people in the live chat already, so thank you. What
welcome.
is it? McKinley, Rye, Wrestling, Mega Shadow, and Omar, if I got that right. Thank you for tuning in, and sorry if I mispronounced any names.
I know I did. No, I didn't say.
Anyway, so it's I guess we got a few things on our topics tonight.
So it came up, yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, that Rockstar announced that GTA 6 was going to be delayed another 6 months. Now, as some of you may remember, it was originally projected that we should have had this game now.
I was going to say, how many delays have there been?
There's
been multiple,
been two
right?
official delays.
Because it was supposed to come out, I know that it was supposed to be, I think, this November, and then they pushed it to, so it went from November 25 to May 26, and now it's November 26.
Right. Now,
Am I getting that right?
So basically we have to wait a year and 2 weeks now to finally get our hands on GTA 6. So I thought that would be our main topic for tonight, and there's so much to unpack there because
there's a lot to unpack there.
Chris is like, "Can we really talk about that for an hour?" And I said, "Oh, at least."
Have you heard of Rambly Rich Alvarez?
Well, because there's so much more that goes into it than just like a delayed game. Like this speaks volumes, I think, to the not only Rockstar, but kind of the situation that the entire video game industry is sort of in right now, where even though we have the technology to
We have the technology.
We have the tech. No, literally, like the technology is there. Like so many games are streamlined, and so many of them are just like running on Unreal Engine 5 or whatever, And you guys be like, "Oh, it's so much more complicated to make a game." So back in the day, okay, let me back up a little bit. Back in the day, of course, you used to have a team of a dozen guys, right? And you could crank out Final Fantasy 2, and then a year later Final Fantasy 3, and then a year later Final Fantasy 4. And that was just, to be on time with things. You know what I mean? They probably only took them like 6 months at the most to actually like do those games. Now, yes, I understand once we hit the Polygon era, aka 3D, aka 64, PlayStation, Sega Saturn, let's not forget, Sega CD, even I'll say. No.
We forgot.
Games became a little bit more complicated once you had to bring in, polygon designers, now known as 3D artists or CGI artists, computer programmers essentially. There were already obviously computer programmers, but you had to bring in a whole new set of programmers straight out of MIT, to get these systems going. Yes, but I would argue that since the PS3 era, it has actually been way easier to make games because of streamlined programming like Unreal Engine 5, where you basically you create models and put them in. It's the reason why, let's take a game that I don't even really care about that much, Fortnite. Like every month, it's like, no, we're bringing in Thanos to Fortnite, or we're bringing now. There's Sims. You've seen the Simpsons and Springfield, the entire town. It's like, how is it that Fortnite, which is a completely 3D animated game with actually like running at like what 120 frames a second, and even though it's cartoony looking, it's very good looking, it's very polished looking, and you're able to bring new characters in. It's because it runs on a streamlined system, and once you get the character models in there, they have the pre-worked framework for how a character is supposed to move and run and everything, with little differences that they add, but it's not hard once you have a system set up to do that. Now, I'm bringing all this up to get back to Grand Theft Auto. So, Grand Theft Auto 5 was in the fictional city of Los Santos, which is a fictionalized version of Los Angeles. It was made impressive at the time, very to scale, like it was like 1/3, the actual size or some crap, anyway, which was a huge improvement on the way that it looked in the game in San Andreas. But the framework is there, and they've been using it this entire time in Grand Theft Auto Online. So in order to make a new Grand Theft Auto game, all they had to do was shift to, and I can't, Vice City. The new game takes place in Vice City, a town that they've already covered, by the way. Mm-hmm. So they make a new Vice City map, but it's going to basically use an improved framework over what they already had 12 years ago in GTA 5. So where's the time? And why is it that we've, it's taken 12 years and we had our second official delay on a game that should have, in all respects, come out 6 years ago? I'd say it's like, oh yeah, you want to make it for the next generation. You want to, make it, smooth it out, make it in a new town, add some new features. Cool. 4 years. 4 years tops. Should have came out 2017, 2018 at the latest. So, Chris, why are we not getting Grand Theft Auto 6 until the year of our Lord, 2026?
It's the world may never know. Well, it's a good question because I saw a timeline where it was showing all the Rockstar games coming out. And I mean, again, this is us outside looking in as people talking on YouTube. We don't really know what causes these big delays. I mean, what I think is interesting is if you look at the timeline on all the Rockstar games that were released in the 2000s and then the 2010s, and now we're in the 2020s. I mean, they were cranking out, like you were just mentioning before the stream. You're mentioning all the games they came out with. I mean, there was all the GTA. I mean, do you want to list off a few?
L.A. Noire, and Red Dead Redemption. And of course, that game, the sequel to that took. Well, I thought at the time it took a long time.
Yeah.
But now, in retrospect, that doesn't seem that bad because that came out in 2018.
It was 2018,
right?
Yeah.
Which
Dead 1
itself
came
was
out,
now over 7 years ago.
That's wild because Red Dead 1 came out in 2010. Red Dead 2 came out in 2018.
That's an 8-year gap.
Yeah. GTA 5 came out in 2013.
Right. So it'll be 13 years.
It's going to be
next
2026.
year.
So it is wild. So I guess that's the thing I'm trying to figure out. Like, why was it that they were able to crank out so many games in the 2000s and the early 2010s?
Right. And
now
we've already,
for some reason,
as I've already suggested, it can't be programming time, right?
Yeah.
So is it just because Grand Theft Auto Online makes so much money that they don't have to? They don't have to.
Lazy. It just prints money.
and I think the thing that's hitting a lot of people hard is just that they were like, when they announced this delay, they were like, it's okay. Grand Theft Auto 5 is still the most technologically advanced game on the market.
Which surprised me because I thought they would have said Red Dead 2.
I guess they forgot about their own game, but no,
Y'all
that's what they said.
That's
what Rockstar's official statement said. Is like, it's okay, it's like, okay, I love Grand Theft Auto 5. It is, as we've discussed, one of my favorite games of all time. But the hubris, the absolute hubris, the audacity of just being like, it's okay. It's like in the okay, so. Terminator 2, one of the greatest movies of all time. If you disagree, then, well, it means we can never really be friends. But, okay, it's one of the greatest. It's James Cameron. written and directed by James Cameron, the great James Cameron, before he went crazy. And, it's Terminator 2. It's amazing. Now, if you had told me in 1995, and just so we're keeping score, that's 4 years after Terminator 2 came out. If you had told me in 1995 that we're going to get a Terminator 3, but don't worry about it, because Terminator 2 is still the most technologically advanced and awesome movie there is, I'd be like, well, yeah, but like, we still want Terminator 3. And of course, then we eventually did get Terminator 3, and it was all right. But that's not my point. The point is, like, just because the previous thing is awesome, it's like, it's like in general, like media terms, it's like, isn't that a reason to work as hard as you can to get the next one out? I don't know a medium where that's not true. You know what I mean? It's like, if
I could think of one. How long was the gap between James Cameron's Avatar 1 and Avatar 2?
Again, crazy James Cameron. Okay, so James Cameron made Avatar, a movie that broke box office records and made almost $3 billion, which is amazing for a movie that everyone thought was pretty okay.
It's true.
And I never understood, because it's like, like Avengers Endgame, right? It's like, I've seen it 3 times. I've seen it 4 times. Even James Cameron's own Titanic. I was 10 years old. I saw Titanic in theaters like 8 times.
I remember I was really little, but I remember even hearing about that was the movie people saw multiple times in theaters.
So, like, the fact that Titanic became the #1 movie of all time at the time.
It made sense.
And, made over $1 billion. First movie to make over $1 billion. It was like, oh, no brainer. Everybody's going to see it. So then Avatar in 2009 comes along, and it makes almost $3 billion. And I had to struggle to find friends that saw it. It was like, who saw Avatar? Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet. To this day, I think I've only seen it the one time.
In theaters, yeah.
I even saw the sequel, and I was like, I'm not going to go back and watch the first one. I'll just in my opinion, the second one was way better, because it was like more of an original story and wasn't just Pocahontas in space or whatever, But okay, anyways, okay. James Cameron, genius, goes underwater, blah blah blah. And, to your point though, or like you were saying, like James Cameron, he's kind of does that thing where it's like he makes the Avatar and then he makes excuse. Oh, we're waiting for the technology. We're waiting for the technology, and then 13 years later, oh, finally Avatar 2, right? That was the connection that you were making. But to his credit, Avatar 3, I just saw the trailer for it.
That's right. That's coming out soon.
It comes out this year, which is only 2 or 3 years after the last one. So he finally learned how to handle a production.
Do a proper spacing of sequels.
And that's the thing when you get to be as famous as James Cameron. It's different. Usually you're given strict deadlines. It's like you must finish X movie by X time, because there are studio heads where it's like, okay, well, if you don't finish the movie by the summer, you're not getting your 10% of the profits, or you're not getting your second paycheck, or whatever. It's like, I know that happens to people like working directors, probably nobody in here remembers Joe Dante, who directed Gremlins 1, 2, and Looney Tunes Back in Action. But his whole thing was they're like, if you don't finish, and it was Gremlins 2 in 1990 or whatever. They're like, if you don't finish this movie by August, you're not getting, I think he was paid $5 million, and he got $2 million to start, and then he was going to get his second $3 million after the movie was finished. And they said, if you don't finish it on time, we're not paying you. And he was like, all right, he didn't care, but I could go on and on about Gremlins 2. That's not the topic tonight. The point is, you are given strict deadlines, and when you're James Cameron, and you can just be like, you are the studio at that point. You don't have to listen to anybody. That's why it takes 13 years to get a sequel out. Because if he wasn't James Cameron, then they would have been like, oh, you better get the sequel out within the next few years. That's what happens. I mean, even Jurassic Park movies come out every few years, whether you want them or not,
True.
So James Cameron can do that, but I think that he's learned that people are impatient. I don't know why it took him so long to learn that. And yeah, we're going to be getting Avatar sequels regularly until he's done, So I understand the connection though, but see, Rockstar has that hubris. They don't think that they need to follow the rules.
Here's the thing, though. Everyone's still going to buy the game anyway.
Oh,
so they don't have to.
I'm going to buy the game.
They don't have to follow the rules.
But I would have happily bought Grand Theft Auto 6, 7, 8, and 9. I mean, hey, if the world was just, we'd have Grand Theft Auto 10 by now. You know what I mean? Like, if everything, you know, I would have bought in all the games. They didn't have to be. Every studio is like, oh, we have to craft it to be the next mega important. Like, no, you don't. Bethesda has the same problem. We're waiting to craft the best experience. Oh, everybody loves Skyrim. So Elder Scrolls 6, it's got to be the best game ever made, and it's got to be the best running game. Okay, well, you remember, you're Bethesda, so no, it's not. It's definitely not going to be the best running game. I'll love it, and I think everyone will love it. But I mean, the joke, like, Bethesda games have a lot of glitches, and that's, to some people, that's what makes them endearing or whatever.
They have a special charm. Did you see Christine jumped in the chat?
Oh, hello, Christine.
Thanks for joining us, Christine.
I'm just complaining that Grand Theft Auto 6 is delayed.
So I guess, long story short, we're disappointed about the delay. Pretty much every gamer is disappointed about the delay. But we're all going to still play the game anyway, even with the delay.
We are still going to play the game.
Even though we don't quite understand why they keep delaying it, but...
It's money.
Anyway.
It's all money. Because would you still play... Like, think about this. They already had the system set up. They spent whatever money they're going to spend on Grand Theft Auto 5 and that version of Grand Theft Auto Online. So, when they release Grand Theft Auto 6, the expectation is Grand Theft Auto Online 2. So they've obviously been building that up at the same time. So, yeah, they've had 13 years of having to spend very little money, making a ton of money off of microtransactions off of Grand Theft Auto Online. I mean, from a financial point of view, sure, it makes sense. And as they said, there hasn't been a whole lot of technological advancement since Grand Theft Auto 5, so they can bank on that, It's just weird to see them say that with like a little bit of a mustache twirl, like, you can literally feel James Cameron reaching in your pockets. Thanks, Sam. That was from the Honest trailer for Titanic,
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's,
Well,
he's gonna get your money.
Yeah, it's like we said, it seems like this game could have come out a long time ago. We don't understand why they need all these delays, but, like, it is what it is. Hopefully it'll still be a good game. Anyway, any more thoughts on that before we transition to our next topic?
I'm just saying, like, even in the argument, like, it's like, there's no excuse. To me, there's no excuse. It's like, like, well, remember, was it Rareware? I'm trying to remember. There was some company in the late 90s that was like, they had delayed a game, and, they're like, oh, we're just trying to make it perfect. And, see, yeah, if you historically release a good game every year, and you have to delay your next big release by a couple of months to polish it off, sure, go ahead. Even Soonders was even saying in the comments, I'd rather have a delayed good game than a rushed bad game. Yeah, if your delay is like 2 months for a game that's only been in development for a year, 13 years. That's not a delay to make a game good. That is some hubris. I'm telling you, there's no excuse. Yeah. I don't even think they started working on the game till 3-4 years ago, tops. They should have been in active development as soon as GTA 5 was on the shelves.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I heard, at least because a few months ago I was getting back into Red Dead Redemption lore, and I heard that development on Red Dead 2 started when Red Dead 1 released. And supposedly the rumor is that development on Red Dead 3 started when Red Dead 2 was released, but they, of course, it's Rockstar. They keep that stuff super hush-hush. They have everybody under NDAs. So they probably did start development on GTA 6 back when GTA 3 came out, but they might have, or sorry, you're right, when started on 6 when 5 came out. But the point is, they could have scrapped everything. They could have had to start over. They could have had to switch systems. Like, you never know how much of that work actually transferred. But again, 13 years. Come on, Rockstar. And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
All right, ready to change topics?
All right.
I feel like we've been kicking this dead horse, and it's not going to get any deader.
Okay, Chris, fine. You want to switch topics? We'll switch topics.
All right.
All right. Before Chris and I get into the graveyard that is Xbox, I know I've been ranting my ass off here for the better part of actually, how long has it been? I don't even know. So, thank you all for coming, and if you could give the video a like, that would do us wonders. And thank you all for participating in the live chat. And welcome. We're just having a merry evening. If we do, of course, welcome super chats. We no longer have our fun, handy super chat robot that
We haven't had that for like 2 years.
Yeah, I know. I'm just pointing it. I miss it. I do miss it. Yeah, it was like fine has super chatted. RichAlvarez, thank you for stupid Ayo brothers. Like that. I liked the robot voice, but the point, you don't get robot voice, but, we're going to read your comment. We're going to stop whatever we're talking about to read your super chat. So we do welcome super chat. It helps us out a great deal. And we welcome it. So thank you for all of your future super chats. Now, Chris and I are going to talk about another important thing. So we made a little short a couple of weeks ago or whatever, and we were, at least I was celebrating the idea that Halo is coming to the PS5. But I thought we should revisit it.
It's worth talking about in more detail.
We got a comment on that short, and forgive me, I don't remember who posted it, but somebody wrote a comment. 20 minutes and 32 seconds. Somebody wrote a comment on that short that was like, I can't believe you guys are celebrating the death of a company, or you wish ill on Xbox, or I don't remember exactly how it was phrased, but the idea was that I'm an asshole because I'm celebrating the fact that Xbox is dying.
Leave the billion-dollar company alone, Rich.
Okay, first of all...
I'm being sarcastic.
First of all... First of all, I am an asshole. No. Okay, but that's... Okay, so... okay.
I think we were hamming it up in that video, obviously.
But Chris, the whole point is that I don't wish ill on any individual person. I don't, if there's like a small mom, and I've got plenty of small mom pop shops in my town, I don't wish ill on them, but I certainly don't care if Walmart owes somebody $20 million. I certainly don't care if Costco has a lawsuit against them because the hot dog stand was cold for a couple million, and I really don't care if Xbox goes down. It's owned by Microsoft. They are a multi-billion-dollar company. To lose Xbox would be like if you or I lost a shoelace. It's a minor inconvenience. We'll just get another one or get a new set of shoes. It doesn't matter to Microsoft. That I'm just saying, it's the Xbox experiment was always that. Bill Gates said it in like 98 or something before the Xbox came out. We are going to experiment with the home gaming market. Now that experiment has come to a close. And
not technically, though. It's more like it's kind of evolving, which I'm sure we're going to get into in a bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But I'm just saying, am I an asshole? Sure. But is it fair to say that I'm being a jerk because I'm celebrating the death of Xbox? I don't know. That's subjective, I guess. But yeah, I guess as Chris said, we were hamming it up, as I always do. But I don't think that... I don't think you could blame... Everybody else was doing it. Okay, you get what I'm saying, right? It's Xbox, all right? I'm not, like, poo-pooing on Mom Pa's, like, shelter for homeless kids or something, like... It's a giant billion-dollar company.
All right, so getting to the point on this, and again, this is news that is old-ish now, but it is worth talking about because of the ramifications. So, as you guys know, Xbox Microsoft, announced that Halo, which was their flagship product that probably sold more Xboxes than any other game title, Halo is going to be on PlayStation 5, which honestly at this point is interesting because, like we talked about, it marks the end of the console wars, which, as you guys remember, like there were some pretty heated times back in the 2000s when, which was funny because I was on Team Nintendo and they were just getting clowned on. And really, everybody was arguing about, Sony versus Microsoft for Xbox versus PlayStation. But it is interesting. It marks the end of an era. Personally, I do think that it's cool because there might be people who have never been able to play a Halo game who are Sony fans, and now maybe they'll be able to jump in and enjoy that, which is Halo, because it is a great game series. Anyway, with that said, I do think there are some things we should mention. Lest I remind you, and we didn't even talk about this, but I never forgot this. Do you remember in 2013 at E3 when Xbox was launching the Xbox One and they were trying to phase out physical games? And then they were talking about how everything would like be on the cloud. But then Sony came out and was like, this is how you can, play games with your friends, and they like just passed like a physical CD. So a lot of people never forgot that Microsoft was being kind of anti-consumerist. So I do, which is funny because I get a lot of my games on the cloud now.
Right.
But at the time,
was ready for it. At that time.
but we didn't forget. So that being said, though, getting to the point, Microsoft obviously has a huge stake in PC gaming, owning Windows. And I think that we were talking about this. So the future of Xbox, it's not necessarily that Xbox is going to phase out. It's more like they're just going to hybrid fuse
here's
PC
the thing.
Gaming with the next Xbox.
So here's what's happening as of right now. I mean, yes, Xbox. So here's the trickery, right? Xbox as a home console is being phased out. They are going to be keeping the Xbox name alive because Microsoft is going to start to daddle into pre-built PCs. Obviously, most pre-built PCs come with Windows pre-installed. I don't know, you hardly ever have to install Windows these days unless you yourself are building your PC from scratch. But without Fry's Electronics still around, it's like, who's still doing that? If you're a master of Newegg.com, like one Dominic
gosh,
Muller,
I forgot about that.
Which I love that idea, but in these days where everything's so expensive, it's like you're better off going to like a Costco and buying like a pre-built PC that already has a pretty decent graphics card and it's all like on sale for like $1,000 or whatever, $1,000.
True.
Yeah. So, so Microsoft is going to be releasing their own pre-built PCs that already have a great Intel card and a great NVIDIA card and are built to run games well. They're calling those Xboxes for $1,200. So I do think that Xbox as a console is dead. They're just going to be making pre-built PCs called Xboxes. So it's kind of a weird, it's like, oh, it's the Xbox, but it's just a PC. The whole point of a home console, well, back in the day, was that it wasn't really a computer. It was just, a console that played games. Now, I mean, even, Nintendo and PlayStation, you can play Netflix, whatever. It's like,
It's your multimedia home
it's
device.
a multimedia system, but these Xboxes are going to be running Windows operating system. So there really isn't going to be a big difference between them and any other PC, except that I guess your pre-built Xbox PC has like the latest, graphics card, or I would say it'll probably have like a decent graphics card in it. If it was the best, it would be like $3,000, let's be real. But I guess I think that they were tired of losing money. Microsoft has always famously lost money with every Xbox sale because they're trying to sell for like $300-$400 when it costs like $600 to make it, or whatever. And that's never really been a huge issue for Sony because they build them in Japan and Sony has better chip connections. I think the only console they ever really lost money on was the PS4.
Which one was the Blu-ray first rolled out on? Was that the PS3?
PS3.
Because and again, this is years ago. I thought I heard that initially they lost money on that, but they said it was worth it because they wanted everybody to have a Blu-ray player instead of an HD DVD player.
Right,
that
and
whole
you
thing?
you could buy the Xbox HD DVD player add-on. It, for whatever reason, they decided not to, and that probably hurt it more than anything. But yeah, I think so. HD DVD, which lasted less than a year.
I was going to say, do you guys remember that? Gosh, I haven't thought about that in so long.
It was sponsored by, I think it was, I can't remember.
Was that Microsoft or was somebody else?
Remember, Microsoft Microsoft makes software. They don't, remember, everything that is physical is built somewhere else. I think it was Pioneer and I want to say Panasonic that teamed up to make HD DVD. Blu-ray is a Sony invention, which is fun because it means that every Blu-ray you ever bought, doesn't matter from which movie studio, Sony's making money off of that. Sony has made money off of every Blu-ray you've ever owned because Sony owns the IP.
There you go.
And until very recently, Sony was the only one making them, and then they would just like license them to, it's kind of a funny. It was the same thing, It's like there was Beta versus VHS, Laserdisc, there's always one thing that significantly wins over the other, and Sony invented the DVD, Sony invented the Blu-ray. People forget, and especially in like our groups, because I think that. I think a lot of people think of Sony. I know a lot of people that think of Sony weirdly primarily as a video game company, but that is definitely not where they started. And they actually originally, that's a whole nother topic. Originally, Sony had no intention of joining the video game race. They kind of got pushed into it by Nintendo. But yeah, Sony's going to be just fine. Sony has Sony Pictures, Columbia. Sony, has their vast array of electronics processing and hardware, and, software too, as of the PlayStation. And, Sony is huge, and their connections in that part of the world and with what they do, they are able to always make the PlayStations for a reasonable price for them and able to sell them to us for a pretty reasonable price. Unfortunately, Microsoft, I read it somewhere. I don't remember, but I know that every single Xbox has cost Microsoft more to make than to sell. They've lost money all the way. So yeah, it makes sense for them to kind of just say, hey, we're just going to be working on PCs. And yeah, they'll keep the Xbox name alive with their pre-made PCs. But the Xbox is, for all intents and purposes, as a home console that a 12-year-old can be like, hey, Mom, can I get an Xbox for Christmas? That's gone. That's going away, basically.
Wow. Because they ask for either a Switch 2 or a PS5.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I would like to talk about some positive stuff because we've been a little bit negative, just a little bit, about the GTA delay. We've been a little bit negative about the console wars. Part of the title of this video is best multiplayer games. So next,
oh yeah, I forgot
would
we
like
were
to
even
talk.
Gonna get to that.
And the reason we talked about that is because again, Halo's in the news. So next up, I would like to transition and talk about some of our favorite multiplayer games. But as a quick segue, in terms of games that have been really fun that we played lately. This technically isn't a multiplayer game. I don't know if I told you about this. I think I did briefly. There's a new game that came out, an indie game, and indie games have been really blowing up lately, and they don't have these massive delays. Did I tell you about Megabonk?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, I want to see, for those of you that are watching, put a 1 in the chat if you played Megabonk and you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, put a 2 in the chat. I'm kind of curious to see if I'm stuck in my own little bubble. It's called Megabonk. So 1 in the chat if you know what that game is. 2 in the chat if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Are we seriously just going to see a whole bunch of 2s?
Man, Kevin doesn't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, shoot. This was all over my YouTube. Wow. Okay, thank you. We got one.
Thanks,
Digimon,
one person.
Digimon rocks. Oh, and then EDMG. Okay, no, wow.
Chris, you imagined
Kevin,
it. It's not real.
McKinley, PRS, D, and Mario didn't know what I was talking about. Man, that's crazy. Well, let me tell you guys, because it was super fun. Dude, this was like, okay, so and again, we'll get to multiplayer gaming in a bit, but I wanted to segue with indie gaming. Every year, there's like the hot indie game of the year. So last year, it was Power World. You guys remember we were playing Power World. And then a couple years
was
before
last
that,
year? I thought
was
that
that
was
2
like
years
2
ago?
years ago.
Might have been 2 years ago. But Power World was a big one. Valheim was a big one. Megabonk is a rogue light game. So it's similar to Risk of Rain or Hades or any of your rogue light stuff. But it was an indie game for $10 on Steam. It's low poly, so it looks like a PlayStation 1 game. And of course, it's super memed, but it kind of has that Hyrule Warriors, Dynasty Warriors feel, where you have a character and then you're getting swarmed by enemies. But the thing that's so fun about this game is that you have to level up weapons and then magic spells, and you have to survive 3 different levels, and then you have to fight a boss. And then at each time you play, you unlock more powerful weapons. There's like a shop. Anyway, I have been so addicted to that game, I finally stopped playing it because I unlocked all the characters and I finally got to a point where I'd done all the low-hanging fruit. That has been such a fun game. Like, I've never gotten into a roguelite, but again, it was $10 on Steam. I was addicted to it for like 2 or 3 weeks, and it's the most fun I've had playing a game in a while. So I highly recommend it. And I'm glad at least a couple of you heard about it, but it was really fun. Anyway, I just want to mention that because I really enjoyed it.
Well, that's cool. I feel like I don't get on, like, there used to, I mean, I'm sure it's still there. There used to be a whole thing on Steam with, like, it's like, here's the upcoming indie games. And I used to get on that all the time and see what all, like, the upcoming indie games were. It's been a good many years since I've done that. I'm sure they still have it. Man, I can't even remember the last time I logged into Steam. The last several years for me have really just been PS5. And if I do get on my computer, it's for gaming. It's just Minecraft, which, you know, you don't get on Steam for that. Or I'm on my computer for video editing. But yeah, I haven't really gotten onto Steam in a good minute. But who's got time?
True. So going back to so that was a bit of a segue, I guess, because Megabonk is a single player game. It doesn't have multiplayer yet, although there is a leaderboard, so you can see how you do compared to other people. But getting back to best multiplayer games, I will say, and we don't have to go in like any chronological order, but jumping back to Halo, I would say when I think of best multiplayer games, I'm going to go by favorites, obviously. So this is extremely subjective, and I'm thinking of some of my favorite memories. So some of my favorite memories was honestly, Rich and I used to have big Halo LAN parties. You hosted a few, because this was back in the day, or probably around Halo 2, and I think Halo 1 a little bit, but Halo 2 is when it picked up along with Halo 3. People would lug over their Xboxes. There'd be, you know, little routers and Cat5 cables going all over the house.
Right.
You'd have 16, you know, you'd have 4 different Xboxes with 16 people playing. And those couch co-op LAN parties were so fun. So I would say Halo definitely holds a special place in my heart for some of my absolute favorite multiplayer memories.
You know, yeah, I mean, even before I met Chris, long time ago, yeah, I used to have another friend. Do you remember Chris Burgess?
Oh, vaguely, yeah.
Which I probably shouldn't be saying his name on stream. I guess, I don't know. Hey everybody, you know, but
I mean,
I used to have another friend named Chris. I know several Chris's, but he used to have like giant LAN parties in his basement because he had a huge basement. And yeah, back then you had to like link Xboxes together with like Cat5 cables and routers, you know, like his, you know, we weren't even using the internet, you know, I don't even think there was real Wi-Fi back then, you know? No, there was no Wi-Fi.
If there was, it was uncommon. It was all just cables on the
we just
ground.
used routers and Cat5 cables to hook up Xboxes together. You know, we started doing that And yeah, we were playing a lot of Halo back then. Yeah, so by the time I met Chris, I had all that set up and could kind of do it on my own. I don't remember. I didn't have like a falling out with the other Chris. I think he was a year older than me, and he graduated. It was the thing. Yeah.
But the point is, you enjoyed those LAN parties.
I mean, yeah, it was fun. That was some of the first times that, like, because it used to, like, in the N64 days, we thought it was cool to play GoldenEye 4-player or Mario Kart 4-player. But to be able to play Halo with 16 players,
that was
and we're
so
all,
cool.
Throwing Mountain Dew at each other in a basement, like
Mountain Dew, Doritos, and pizza.
Good times. It was really crazy. It was quite the experience, like, as a, 16, 17-year-old.
Well, what I remember, and I won't say what we said, but I remember we started to try and use politically incorrect names inside Halo. So it was like, you just died of insert something that wouldn't be appropriate to say today. But back in the day, we got jokey with our names. I remember having fun with that. But it was just a good time, like having everybody there. And then, playing the games. And remember, even back then, that was like, people would invent different game types. So a good example is zombies. Zombies, I remember, wasn't like official. You had to like manually change your color, and you had to agree on the rules. Like, I remember that being fun. I remember custom games, like when I used to have my birthday parties, I'd have everybody over for Halo, and we'd play different game types. Like, I remember we played Battle Royale, where you'd spawn with one rando weapon, and and then you had to you only had one life. That was really fun. I just remember having really good memories, but it was probably because it was a jump in multiplayer gaming. Because like Rich said, we had played Mario Kart, we had played GoldenEye, but what made Halo special was it was the first time where it was like, well, now get 16 of your friends together.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, especially because that dude, his parents must have been well off. In his basement, he had he had 3 giant televisions and then a projector that would project the huge screen. And so, yeah, it's like every screen was like doing the 4-player thing. And so we were, doing 16-player Halo. And it was just crazy. There'd been nothing like it before.
Yeah.
There'd been nothing like it. To have like a huge house party where everybody's playing the same game.
You know what's funny? There was only one time I remember something kind of similar happening, and it was when Overwatch came out in 2016. Because I remember I made a post on Facebook about how I was playing Overwatch, and people I hadn't talked to in years were like, people we used to play Halo with were like, oh, I'm playing Overwatch too, add me. So I remember Overwatch, it briefly felt like a Halo LAN party renaissance, because I remember we used to hang out with Garrett and do like Overwatch parties. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, we'd all get together and try to get on the same Overwatch game.
That was really fun. Yeah, I think.
But and yeah, like LAN parties are fun. Online is different. Sorry, you were finished your thought.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's different. The couch co-op or even just LAN parties. It's different than when you're online with your friends.
Yeah, I have to remember sometimes that those Halo parties were when I was 16 or 17. Of course, those 21, 22 years ago.
One of the other things I was thinking about is there used to be PC LAN center places. There were a couple where we live, and we went, and I remember they even had like Halo, like an Xbox setup, because I remember when Halo 3 first came out, goodness, this was 2007, you and me would play with Matt and Doug,
right,
and we go to that LAN center, and we had fun. But then they also had the PC gaming, and we used to play RTSs, so we'd play Age of Empires 3.
A lot of Age of Empires.
And like I remember that being so fun, playing Age of Empires 3 with like Matt and Doug, and then it'd be us 4 versus like 4 computers, and I don't know. There is something magical about the LAN party setup or the couch co-op setup when you have all your buddies and you're hanging out and you're eating a bunch of junk food and you just go all day on a Saturday or stay up really late on a Friday.
It makes me wonder how often like kids today are actually doing that, because with so much available, you could just, like, oh, see you, Tom, I'll see you after school on to Fortnite.
As that's it. It's Fortnite and Discord?
You meet up with your friends on... What?
Do you mean Braden?
Braden.
Tom.
I was just saying Tom.
Yeah, because Tom's a millennial name, so Braden, Jaden,
Oh.
and Faden, and whatever Aiden would be all the Gen Z names.
Yeah, I don't know whatever kids are calling themselves these days.
I'll meet you.
Whoa. Yeah. I mean, basically, I feel like kids are just meeting up on Discord and they're playing games online and they never see each other face to face. Or a lot of their friends might just be online that they've never met face to face. I don't know. It's just like, and again, I'm not diminishing anyone else's experience. Certainly if you've grown up in this era, then that's what's fun to you. I just know that for me personally, nothing's ever going to beat like those giant LAN parties where everything was physically there. Sound like an old man. Back in my day, before the internet,
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think as we talk about all the time, it's all a generational thing. So and that's why there are the jokes about like old geezers, because nothing is as good as it was in your childhood, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it was interesting because EDMG was just saying in the chat the kids are playing Roblox, because I think that they're playing Roblox or they're playing Fortnite. It seems to me that that's probably what's going on. And on that note, what was funny is I was watching a video essay about what made MMOs like WoW really special. And it was because that was the last time that like online gaming, like, because World of Warcraft came out in 2004 and it really peaked in the mid to late 2000s. But you got to remember, that was before social media really took off. So people weren't connected on their smartphones the whole time. They weren't on social media all day. So being able to talk to people in a video game was a novelty and it was special. So there was something special about playing with other gamers on the internet when it first came out, when you weren't connected to people all day. Now that if you're connected to people all day, sometimes you just want to break from being connected with everybody, and a solo player game might be more fun. But there was something special about that time, 2000s gaming. What other good memories do you have?
Who can say where the road only time. Good
old Enya.
Because we just keep talking about like, whoa,
Back in the good old days when things didn't suck. One of the things we'll still do every once in a blue moon is either Mario Kart or Mario Party, like when we hang out with Andy and Christine, or Jackbox. I was thinking to myself, other big games that really blew up. Here's another one I would technically count as a multiplayer game, but it's really pushing it. The original Pokemon games on Game Boy. Even though it was a single-player game, you could trade with people.
With the link cables and nonsense.
Yeah, you remember that. Because I was thinking, like, what was I... When I was talking to Rich about the title, best multiplayer games, I thought, would you count Pokemon Gen 1 or Gen 2 or Gen 3, or I guess any gen?
I mean, kind of.
Multiplayer. Like, because most of my memories of Pokemon are playing by myself. But trading with kids at recess back when I was in school, that was fun.
I'm trying to think. For me, it's like the first time I can even remember playing a two-player game was like in the arcade.
At the arcade, like smashing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, or like Street Fighter and those sorts of things. And it was like, all of them, played so much better than they would on like a home console.
Oh, because the arcades were huge.
They all look what? No, you put that over there. You saw that. Oh, yeah. I guess I have tried to hide my yawns, but I'm not so good at it. I need to stand up for a minute. Chris, entertain the crowd.
Sure. After
I
these
do some
messages,
jumping jacks
Rich will
over
be
here.
back. Well, while Rich is getting himself refreshed, I was thinking back on other games that I really liked. And, I would say the game that I probably have the most nostalgia for, like the first multiplayer game that I really got into, was Mario Kart 64. Because Mario Kart 64 had battle mode, and that was the one, when I was a little kid, all of like the birthday parties where us all huddled around playing Mario Kart. Balloon battle on those various stages, the racing. That was the one that I like really, really, really remember a lot. And that would be like my most iconic memory of the 64 era. Of course, when I think about the GameCube era and the games I was playing then, by that point it was Smash Bros. Melee. And that was really, really, really fun. And then, of course, when you do the next jump now, we're talking about online gaming and stuff. And, of course, by that point, World of Warcraft is out. Other games are online. Mario Kart finally goes online with Mario Kart DS. You guys have probably heard before. But technically, you could play Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube online, but you really had to finesse it because there was an adapter. It was called the GameCube broadband adapter, so you could do a system link with the GameCube, and you could play Mario Kart with other people, but if you used a special software called Warp Pipe, we'll get to that super chat in a sec. If you used a special software called Warp Pipe, you could trick your GameCube to do a LAN connection and then play Mario Kart online with other people. But then they, of course, did it online officially. Anyway, now that Rich is back,
right.
We got a super chat.
I'm back. And Chris, the rules are when somebody super chats, you're supposed to...
Well, I was waiting for you.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, EDMG. You are a treasure. Super chats and says, I have good memories of playing DBZ Budokai Tenkachi. I'm probably butchering that. I think I was good on
DBZ.
Budokai Tenkachi 3 with friends in my college years. God, is that how long that's been? Goodness. I'm trying to remember. Well, thank you for your generous super chat, EDMG, first of all. That reminds me, the last Dragon Ball game I played, what was the last E3 we went to? Because they were advertised.
That was 2018.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, it was around that time that they released that one Dragon Ball game that, the whole game was, retelling the story of Dragon Ball Z. But I thought it was, a little redundant because they had just released Dragon Ball Kai, which also retold the story of Dragon Ball. I mean, it was Dragon Ball Z. It was just, recut so that it, fights with, characters didn't take 12 episodes or whatever. It's over 9,000. And, it did reduce the number of episodes from 1,000 to 120, right? I'm not misremembering this, right? Did you watch Dragon Ball Z Kai?
I never watched Dragon Ball.
You never watched Dragon Ball?
I know, I'm
Okay.
the anime guy, and I totally missed.
You are always...
I'm the new anime
Listen
guy,
to this,
not
guys.
the old anime guy.
Chris is always on here. I know you don't like anime, Richie, but let me talk for 5 minutes about this. And he hasn't even seen Dragon Ball Z. True. All right, well... I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I never said I was the biggest retro anime fan, as much as I love retro anime. I'm more of a new anime fan.
That's right. That was called Kakarot, because that's Goku's real name. By the way, it's kind of like Superman being Kal-El.
D said, "For shame." I know. I'll catch up.
I'll say this, Chris. This is going to be very. I could be crucified for saying this. It is my humble opinion that Naruto did Dragon Ball better.
Well, that's what I heard, because Dragon Ball was the original template, but I've heard that the pacing and the power scaling, because I've watched video essays, was a bit funky, and I've heard that Naruto... what was it? It was Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. Those were the big three, right?
At
that were
the
all
time.
inspired by that. But now it's My Hero, which is about to end, Jujutsu Kaisen, which is about to end, and then what was the other one? I guess My Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen. I guess technically Demon Slayer. We're already on Gen 3 of Battle Shonens, and those are about to end. But here's the point, and I think this is what you were going to say. Dragon Ball obviously set the template for a Battle Shonen, but other anime since have had better pacing. And I'll even say this. I've been recently rewatching My Hero because I only got halfway through the show, and then I stopped watching it, and I'm trying to get caught up again. My Hero has even better pacing than Naruto, because Naruto had a ton of filler, but now My Hero has really, really good pacing. So it's each new generation of Battle Shonen animes, the pacing gets a lot better.
I mean, it's probably also a generational, again, just like we were talking about video games, it's a generational thing. Your favorite is whatever you grew up with or whatever, I think, again, I haven't, been actively watching anime for several years now.
I did force you to watch Solo Leveling on my birthday.
Right. No, I did see the first 3 seasons, at least, of My Hero
Did you enjoy
Academia. And I enjoyed the first 2 seasons. I think the entire 3rd season was them just training at school or whatever.
The pacing slows down around that time, yeah. But the first 2 seasons were really good.
I mean,
it picks up again.
It's fine. I would disagree with you on one point, Chris, which is that I think that there are, if I'm remembering correctly, there are aspects of My Hero Academia where it's like, they do a good job of developing. Do you remember what the main guy's name is?
Deku.
Midoriya. Like they Midoriya, right?
I actually don't know how to pronounce it.
I thought it was Midoriya.
Well, his nickname is Deku.
But yeah,
it might be Midoriya.
But the point is, like, I think they could do a good job of developing him, but maybe not so much the other characters as much. And almost, I remember somebody complaining even that a lot of the characters in that show feel like decoration or I've heard some outrageous things. Because, like, it's like,
they do have a massive cast.
It's like, they got some cool powers, but they don't really, like, do a whole lot. Versus, I really felt like in Naruto that, like, that entire group of kids, like, even, like, the ones from the other groups really had their time to shine. Like, there's the whole, in the original show, when they're running after Sasuke and they're trying to catch up to... oh God, what's the snake guy? Orochimaru, yeah, right. And every group is doing their thing, fighting like the bad guys, and you get to see like all the different groups do their skills, and then we because remember Nuro is famous for and now a flashback. We get to see like the kids like flashbacks and everything. I felt like that show did such a good job at character development. And I don't think it really has its like anywhere else. So was Naruto a little slow at times? Sure. But it never bothered me.
I mean, to be fair, we did skip all the filler. So
you skipped all the filler, Chris.
Wait.
Because I told you what all the filler was, remember?
You watched all the filler?
I watched everything.
Oh, jeez. Holy smokes.
I've seen it all, and not all of it's great. But yeah, so obviously... Naruto was interesting, and because they were trying to follow the manga, but they also didn't want the show to end, and so there were whole seasons of filler where it's like they were waiting for new mangas to drop or whatever, and you can completely skip those. Sometimes you can skip whole seasons, and if and then it's fine. They should really do like a Kai of Naruto.
There's been fan edits of it. Naruto Kai is. Shortened. Sorry, I'm just laughing at what PRS just said. This is no longer a gaming stream; it's an anime stream.
Sorry, a sidetrack, but that's okay. I mean, it's whatever. You know.
You guys
did you really come to hear just our thoughts on multiplayer game?
You know us. We kind of flow in and out of different topics.
So,
but you know what? I appreciate that you gave Solo Leveling a try.
Well, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. Mm-hmm. Anyways, Naruto's great. Baruto is not written by the original author.
Oh, I didn't know that. I tried watching Boruto and I got kind of bored, but it is what it is.
It's not as good. Hey, Sam, super chats, even though she's sitting right over there.
Thanks, Sam.
Favorite N64 game? Love playing GoldenEye. Great game. Movie is mid.
Shots fired. Literally.
Well, Sam and I just recently rewatched. Well, not all, but like I chose specific highlights from the Bond film franchise. And interestingly, we did all of my favorites like Goldfinger and On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Anyways, by the time we got to GoldenEye, I have to admit, even I was like, GoldenEye was always one of my favorites as a kid, but I did kind of find myself a little bit bored with it, and it's like I think
the game or the movie.
I'm talking about the movie right now.
Okay.
But yes, she said movie was mid. Because I think it's like you go from... Listen, there's a reason why us... I wasn't even alive at the time, but there's a reason why hardcore Bond fans love Connery. He was charming and sophisticated at the same time and had a charisma to him that is unbeatable. So even if you're in like kind of a boring-ish Bond film, like in my opinion, Thunderball, I guess shots fired there, because I think Goldfinger is the best Bond film, and then you have You Only Live Twice, which is also great. But yeah, Thunderball I think is not his best outing, but even though it's not his best outing, he's still great in the movie. When you get to GoldenEye, I think that Pierce Brosnan does a banger job at being James Bond, but there are moments in that movie that could have been faster. And I don't think that all of that is necessarily his fault. Or even, Martin Campbell, who directed that movie and then later directed Casino Royale. It's like then when you go to Casino Royale, it's like it's a tighter movie. It like feels tighter. And I think that it really shows like Martin Campbell is a great director. Whoever edited GoldenEye, though, could have cut out 10 minutes easily, and it would have been much better for it. Now, when it comes to GoldenEye, the video game, I have a lot of fond memories of being able to like play, because you could be Oddjob in that game. You could be characters from all over the Bond franchise. It was a lot of fun, and players, like when you kill somebody, it was like. They have like weird. Everybody who's played it knows there's like the weird ragdoll physics in it. And like it was a lot of fun. But Chris, your favorite N64, and I know what it's going to be.
No, it's a great question. I mean, I'll answer my favorite, and then I'll throw in a little fun trivia, and I'll do my favorite underrated game. So you guys know I love Banjo-Kazooie. My Nintendo 64 was a bundle pack when I first got it. And it had Banjo-Kazooie and Mario Kart 64. Oh. So I played a ton of those. But, obviously, since we're talking multiplayer, I actually wanted to give my favorite underrated game, because I don't think it was a well-known one. Did you ever play any of the Battletanks games?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, it was by a company called 3DO. It was funny, because I remember when we were at E3... and we were talking to the people that made World of Tanks. I told them I really liked World of Tanks because it reminded me of Battletanks, which was an underrated 64 game. Anyway, Battletanks was really, really fun. And again, it takes place in the future, and it's like a post-apocalyptic world. But you have these tanks, and as you go through the game, you have to complete different levels. But what was really cool about it is you could do the story. There was Battletanks 1 and Battletanks 2, but there was a plot. You could play with a friend, but then there was like a multiplayer mode where you could fight each other, and it was just a really, really, really fun game. So I had good memories of playing with my buddies doing Battletanks. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that one out there because you guys probably haven't heard me talk about it before, and it's a little bit of an unknown gem.
Well, I think it's hard not to pick Banjo-Kazooie for best N64 game. I'll try to.
You want to do an underrated one?
I was gonna say I'll just try to pick one so I'm different, but I think Banjo-Kazooie was probably the game I had the most fun with on the N64. Besides maybe Rogue Squadron, like the Star Wars game. I played the snot out of Rogue Squadron, and every time you died, like do 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 do.
Now, is Rogue Squadron, is that the one that started on Hoth where you have to
you might be thinking of Shadows of the Empire.
My friend had Shadows of the Empire. Okay, that's the
one
I was
first. And I actually love Shadows of the Empire. That's another great N64 game, although it was on PC also. Shadows of the Empire, where you're Dash Rendar,
Yeah.
And it's, this incredible side story of this other smuggler who's a lot like Han Solo, but he's not Han Solo. And yet what's great about Shadows of the Empire is that you'd have missions where you're flying ships, and you'd have missions on foot with, you're just shooting people with your laser pistol, or you'd have, there was, the motorcycle level, or the swoop level, where you're fighting the swoop gang, and then, the final battle where you're fighting Prince Caesar. Not Caesar, Zizar.
Zizar.
Which is an incredible expanded universe character that, bring him back into canon. Um, that's a whole thing. I love Shadows of the Empire, but I also love Rogue Squadron because Rogue Squadron was so hard. It was not easy. It was not easy. I remember I tried to replay it not too long ago, and I couldn't beat anything. I just kept dying. It's an impossible game. Impossible. I don't know how I ever beat it, but I loved Rogue Squadron. Still love Rogue Squadron. Excited for the Ryan Gosling Star Wars movie coming up, Starfighter. It's going to be awesome. Anyways.
Very nice.
But yeah, favorite, probably Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know.
Good question. That was
Ocarina of Time, which is also great.
another really
But I
good
probably
game.
didn't even, it's definitely Banjo-Kazooie.
Well, Ocarina of Time would be the best game. And, but you asked favorite. Which is Banjo.
I love your little sidekick there.
Yeah.
Get that cat a mic. Well said, Evil Horton. All right. Other multiplayer games. What other big ones do you remember? Oh, Minecraft, dude. You spent hours and hours
Oh, I
and
mean,
hours
yeah,
on Minecraft.
but I thought we were talking about like nostalgic multiplayer, right?
mean-
Just all multiplayer.
That's true. I mean, I guess it
I mean,
depends.
the funny thing is, I love that. So, I'm trying to remember what even. So, Sam, maybe you could remind me when you open up Minecraft after play. It's like, is the second option LAN? I don't think,
You can pick. No.
but I don't think it does. It's not
You
multiplayer,
create world and then you open plan.
right? But if somebody wants to get to your LAN game, I go. Oh, I guess they also just go to.
They go to.
Okay, here's my point. Sorry to run around the bush, but it's like Minecraft is like the only game that you can play multiplayer that doesn't have a multiplayer option. Because what you do is you have to set up a server, and then you get everybody to
yeah.
connect to your server. Which is interesting because most games, if not all, remember, Minecraft is an interesting case because it was made cheaply by
Notch.
Notch, right? And and he designed it in Java. That's why it's called Java Edition, the original one. And it wasn't. It does a lot of things it shouldn't be able to do. But I'll give it that. And it obviously one of my favorite games. But it's not like you could just go in there and hit multiplayer. And like it's very interesting how it has to be done. You have to set up a server or be invited to a server and put in the server IP address, physically putting the IP address of the server you're trying to get to. And then I used to have a computer that specifically ran a Minecraft server that my friends could jump into. And that's a lot of fun because you could have, depending on how big your server is, you could have a ton of people in there and you'd all be playing in the same world. And, that is a huge... I would say that in the last 10 years, I've had more fun in multiplayer with Minecraft than probably any other multiplayer game. Except for, like, when we do, like, Jackbox,
Yeah.
like party games.
Yeah.
But those are different, I think.
That's, because when I think of hanging out at somebody's house for, like, a small party, that's usually Jackbox, Mario Party, or Mario Kart. But if you're, like... logging online to play with your buddies, I mean, yeah, because we're not really playing Fortnite, so it's Minecraft, and I don't even play Minecraft.
Yeah.
I still play World of Warcraft. I got really into Fall Guys for a few years there, but I haven't played that in a
because
while.
we haven't mentioned MMOs yet. Speaking of, that's massive online multiplayer. Speaking of, you said World of Warcraft. I was so tempted the other day to make a new character in Final Fantasy.
Which one? 16 or 11?
14, Chris. That's the other
Sorry,
online.
14. I'm mixing up my old MMO or new MMO.
I don't even think you can get, unless I'm very much mistaken, I don't even think you can play 11 on a PS5. I think 11's just dead now.
I mean, that makes sense. So you almost went back into 14, huh?
I was feeling it, but then I didn't want to pay the $20
Yeah.
because I never installed it on my PS5.
That'll do it.
I think I have it on my computer, but it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It sounds fun, and I know that if I started it, it would be all I do. I don't really have the time to do it now be like, I have my headphones on. Like, it's like, all right, guys, we're in the middle of a battle. Like, hey, guys, can you wait like 5 minutes? I got to change my baby's diaper. They're like, wait, what? It just never worked. And okay, I know that a lot of that stuff is kind of loosened up in MMOs these days, but I remember in the days of Final Fantasy XI, like waiting like 2-3 hours for a party to be available to join them so that you could go and like level up and do things. And you couldn't really if you didn't have a party, you couldn't really do anything. You'd just be walking around getting killed, Man, but it was fun once you had a party together and you were able to venture out and go find a nice little spot, and then like somebody would use provoke, the tank, right? Would use provoke to bring the monster in, and then you'd all fight it, and everybody's doing their individual jobs. That stuff is really fun. But then you're like, oh, how did the last 12 hours of my life go by? Like it can be fun, but
Yeah.
I would argue that I probably have more fun in single player adventures like like I just played, well, a few months ago I played Oblivion, the remastered, which was amazing, and I went through that whole game. I literally I got my first platinum trophy on PS5 for 100%ing a game, because I guess usually I'm leaving some odds and ends, and it's like like I've tried to 100% Skyrim, but it's like there's so many damn side quests and things. But I got my platinum trophy for Oblivion. I was pretty happy about that, but that means that I did everything.
That actually makes me curious. What are you guys playing right now in terms of video games? What game are you into? So in the comments, if you're still watching, tell us what game you're currently playing. It doesn't have to be the game that you literally played last, but maybe over the past few weeks, the game that you've been playing. I mentioned to you guys, of course, I was playing Megabonk. Now I'm going back to World of Warcraft. What have you been playing? Was it just back to Minecraft, or did you go back to Oblivion?
Actually, Sam and I have been rewatching Downton Abbey.
Didn't answer my question.
Oh, I guess, yeah. I mean, when I have some time here and there, I've been kind of playing a slow crawl of Final Fantasy VIII, which is a game, of course, I've played a million times. Yeah, but we're talking like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here. There's been a couple of nights in the last couple of weeks where I've been able to play it for like an hour or two, and that's, mostly because what's Sam?
It's because you fall asleep within like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I've been having you probably see me yawning. I've been having a hard time with my sleep, and my sleep schedule's so out of whack. Like, it's like I can't seem to regulate it. And then, like, I'll wake up at, like, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I won't be able to go back to sleep. And then by the time, like, 9 o'clock, or wow, it's only 8 o'clock. By the time, like, 7:30, 8 o'clock comes around, I'm tired. I'm falling asleep.
Don't forget, we had the time shift recently, too.
There's
just a week ago.
There's that.
Plus a 6-month-old baby.
That's
right,
true.
the real
Also
trick is
a
the
baby.
6-month-old baby, which...
That'll do it.
So, I'm just tired. There's a picture of me at my sister's house asleep.
Oh, was that for Halloween?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was there when that was taken.
I can't help it. I'm just tired all the time.
Well, I wanted to read
Hey,
off...
Scott Otter's here.
Whoa! Scott Otter jumped in. Scott says, my mom still won't let me play Grand Theft Auto.
Scott, you tell your mom that she can. She's a very nice lady.
Cool. Thanks for jumping in, Scott. I wanted to just read off people who answered my question, so thank you. So EDMG is playing Pokemon Legends ZA. Mario Fan 1 is playing Legend of Zelda on the Famicom Disk System. My goodness.
EDMG says, 6? I thought she was 5 months old. I mean, she was 3 weeks ago. I mean, she's like about to be 6 months, right, Sam?
No, she's 6 months.
Oh, she is. She's 6 months as of now.
There you go.
There you go.
27th of last month.
What?
She's like 6 months in a week.
6 months in a week.
There you go. Evil Horton is playing Hunter Stories 2 and Pokemon Sword. Scoozy is playing Haste. And I think that's pretty much it. So, oh, and then PRS is planning on playing Caves of Cood? I haven't heard of that. Yeah, what I tend to do is I have a couple games that I just constantly play, and then every once in a while I'll
Got some
try out
hiccups,
like a
sorry.
new one. There we go. Brandon's playing Astrobot. Okay. Got a good mix out there. Man, good stuff.
I mean, I've been really into. Sorry, I've been really into just what?
Nothing.
Oh,
Really into nothing, says
I'm
Sam.
not dying.
Oh,
Oh,
not dying. Really into not dying, says Sam.
well, really. I mean, as you guys know, I love movies and television, and that kind of takes up most of any free time I have. Yeah, I'll play a little Final Fantasy here. Yeah, we actually surprisingly, Chris, for a game that we used to touch like every week. I don't think we've actually gotten onto Minecraft in like a month at least.
Hello, Kitty.
Any time where we're both awake is usually spent, well, tending our child, or we're watching Downton. We just finished the show, so we're ready to rewatch.
Ready for a new show?
No, we're ready to rewatch the Downton
Ready
movies.
for the movie.
Downton movies. Now there's 3 of them. It had been a couple of years since our last watch of Downton. God, I've got these bad hiccups. And, that might sound silly to a lot of you. I don't know. But Downton Abbey is a great show. You don't have to be old and British to enjoy
Oh, I
it.
mean, I remember you got me into it. I watched, I think, at least the first season and part of the second, maybe the third. I forget. But it was a good show. I just don't watch that much TV these days. You guys know me. If I'm watching something, it's probably anime.
I don't think I told you. Sorry.
Could you? Could I get that again in English?
I don't think I told you this, Chris, but so Sam and I, and when Sam and I haven't gone to a traditional movie theater in a while because it's considered impolite, I suppose, to bring a infant into a movie theater. So what we do instead is we go to the drive-in
Oh,
movie
you
theater.
did mention that. I remember that. That was cool.
And we have thank you. A new pepper. I guess you can take bets on this one too, guys. I don't know if you saw what they were talking about.
Yeah, he's spilling it.
So anyway, Rich has been going to the drive-through, and
The drive-in, Chris. The drive-through.
sorry,
The drive-through will get you a burger and fries. The drive-in will get you an experience.
that's a good point. I'm mixing them up, but I have a feeling you went through the drive-through before going to the drive-in.
We actually did, yes. So
Called it.
But the nice thing about the drive-in is, like, we're contained in our car, and nobody cares if the baby's screaming. Well, I guess except for us.
Dude, what did you see most recently?
So Sam and I went last night to see the new movie Predator Badlands.
Oh, right. How was that?
Awesome.
You like it?
Really awesome.
Is that a sequel? I don't even. Is that to Prey, or is it unrelated, or what is it? Like, I don't even know the timeline. I haven't watched anything.
Anyways, what an interesting question. There,
I don't know
Chris.
where it takes place in the Predator.
And technically,
chronology.
neither does anybody else. But,
Oh, okay. Well, now I don't feel bad.
allegedly takes place. Well, according to Trachtenberg, that Dan Trachtenberg's the director, who also directed Prey. And I don't know if you've seen it, Killer of Killers, the animated movie on Hulu / Disney Plus. There's the animated Predator movie Killer of Killers, which is awesome. So Trachtenberg came in. God.
Rich has
Sorry,
got
hiccups.
the hiccups.
A little bit of history on the Predator franchise. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the original 1987 film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's awesome. Then there was Predator 2 in the 90s with Danny Glover, and then there's 2 Alien versus Predator movies. Then there's Predators. Then there's The Predator. Then there's Prey, the prequel in the 1700s, and then there's Predator Killer of Killers, the animated film, and now there is Predator Badlands. Dan Trachtenberg has really been the main architect of this series since Prey. He did Prey. Prey was huge. then he directed the animated movie, and then he directed Predator Badlands. None of them are really connected as far as like characters per se, but all of them cover different eras of the like universe, right? So obviously Prey is in the 1700s, and it deals a lot with a predator coming down and fighting some Native Americans, and it's really awesome. I like Killer of Killers. You should definitely see it. You'd like it because it's basically in anime. It kind of has a style that's very similar to like the Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Kind of that like choppy sort of comic.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's really cool though. It has 3 stories. It's Predator coming down and fighting a bunch of Vikings, and then a Predator coming down and fighting a bunch of people during World War II, and then the third story is a Predator coming down and fighting a bunch of samurai during feudal Japan era. And that's what I love about that cartoon is like basically like after Prey, they're like, okay, we've seen a Predator come down and fight a bunch of Marines. We've seen a Predator come down and fight a bunch of cops. It's like we've seen a Predator come down and fight a bunch of Native. Like, what else can we do? And Dan Trachtenberg, it's like, okay, let's just do a cartoon where it's like, oh, you want samurai, you want soldiers, you want Predator comes down and fights Vikings. Done. It's like he got it all done in the one cartoon, so that any like Predator fights X group, is done with, because he wanted to do something very different in Predator Badlands. For the very first time, our character in Predator Badlands is a predator. It's a Yautja, and so a lot of the movie is actually in Yautja. You have to read the subtitles because he's like, like it almost sounds like Klingon from Star Trek,
Wow.
So this isn't going to be a huge spoiler because it happens right at the beginning of the movie. But so our main character, his name is Dek. He's a young Yautja, aka we call them predators because they're like, oh, a predator. But the actual name of their species is called Yautja, And actually, there's a cool thing at the beginning in text where it's like, Yautja is prey to none, but predator to all,
Wow.
So at the beginning of this movie, Dek is considered a runt, and the Yautja, the species, are obviously they're basically a species of big game hunters, right? They go from planet to planet, like being the biggest badass that there is, and they you've seen Predator movies.
Oh, yeah.
They rip the skulls, like
They keep them as like trophies, basically.
yeah. But we actually get to see like some family dynamics of the Yautja, which is really interesting. It's like if you like, because Dek is, predators are like 8 feet tall typically, but Dek is like 5'10". He's considered a runt, they're like, and his dad is trying to force his brother to kill him. He's like, I don't want weakness in this family, so you have to kill your brother. So, Dek is fighting his brother at the beginning, and then the dad's just like watching as trying to watch his sons kill each other because one has to be stronger than the other. I'm not going to say what happens after that, but that's how this movie begins.
Wow. So it's very different than
Yeah.
your typical. Oh,
It's
that's
different.
cool.
And then, but then most of the movie is Dek stranded on an alien planet we actually get to see the Predator homeworld for once, and that's its own bag of worms, and I won't spoil that, but he does get stranded on this other alien world. And yeah, most of the movie is just him walking around fighting other like alien species and stuff. But what's really cool is we got our like one character played by an actual person, which is Ellie Fanning, but she doesn't have any legs. She's an android, and she says right away that she's an android created by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Now, everybody who's fan of the Alien series knows that the Weyland-Yutani company is the company that makes all the androids, like Bishop, from the Alien franchise. Every Alien movie has like an android. You've seen the androids; they bleed milk when they get hurt, and everything.
Right.
So she's one of those from the Alien series. But I don't think it. That was somehow a surprise to some people that don't realize that the Predator and Alien movies are actually the same universe.
Well, there was Alien versus Predator.
There indeed was, Chris, Alien versus Predator, but so and there's a lot of references to things in alien movies, like the Weyland-Yutani Corporation coming and trying to collect as many alien species and samples as they can. That was always a running theme throughout the Alien films, and that is exactly what that corporation is trying to do in this movie, including trying to capture the Dek, or Yautja himself. So it's really interesting seeing the whole thing from his point of view, because he's just like, and I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but you've actually finally get a sense of like what it is to be a Yautja and what their purpose is and like why it is they even do what they do, you know?
Wow.
And it's really different. And so in that sense, whereas past Predator movies have been strictly sci-fi horror, this is not a sci-fi horror film. This is actually an adventure film. And at its base, it's really kind of a buddy comedy, you know?
Whoa. That's interesting.
Which is really cool because, you know, he's like, I am a hunter and I hunt alone. And she's just like, hey, buddy, come on, if we work together, you know, like. So Ellie Fanny kind of provides the comic relief, you know, and she's like strapped to his back like a backpack since she doesn't have any legs. And she's cracking wise the whole movie. You know, it's like, oh, you don't want to go this way, you know.
Overall, good movie?
I loved it. I loved it. Everyone asks, where's Predator? Nobody asks, how's Predator?
And then the next comment, need Rich to stay awake? Just ask him about a movie scene he's passionate about. Or a movie series.
Yeah, no, that's right. I love the series, and you know, it's really cool. There's a lot of there's a lot of cool references in the movie to both obviously the Predator and Alien franchises. And I love that kind of both franchises have kind of had like a resurgent lately. Like I know a lot of people have just experienced Alien Earth, the show, and I thought it was pretty good. But Alien Romulus, the last Alien movie that came out like last year or whatever, it was like really good. I really enjoyed it. It was probably my favorite Alien film since James Cameron's Aliens back in the 80s, I think. So I'm really excited because obviously, you know, I would just love another Alien Predator, you know, movie, you know, like proper.
That would be cool.
And, you know, it's not hard, you know, just, you just have Predators hunting a bunch of xenomorphs, you know. It's so awesome. The movie's really good. I'll say this. I couldn't recommend it enough. I know some people are like, meh, because, okay, there's two things people don't like. Some people aren't too jazzed about the main character being a predator. There's no humans in the movie. It's mostly Yautja and then weird alien animals and then a robot or two. There's no humans in the movie. There are no humans in the movie.
So it feels different than a typical
Yeah.
Predator movie.
Yeah, of course. So some people don't like that aspect. Another thing is that people are like, ooh, it's not rated R. But the funny thing is that this movie is just as violent as any other Predator movie. But according to the, you know, what's it called? The NPAA or whatever the ratings board is. You know?
Yeah.
In order to be rated R, there has to be two main things. Actually, three main things. There's, you know, violence, language, and sexuality. Predator movies have never really had any nudity or sexuality. They've had a bunch of language, you know. You know?
Yeah.
And usually they're pretty violent. So this movie does not disappoint in the violence category. The difference is that according to the ratings board, violence is when somebody or something attacks and hurts or kills a human being. Again, there are no humans in this movie.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, there's Yautjas that get their heads cut off, and you know, and aliens that, you know, are disemboweled or burned and flamed and stabbed.
But it wasn't considered.
But the ratings board, I guess,
Wow,
doesn't care
I didn't know that.
if it's a bunch of aliens getting dismembered.
Holy smokes. So if it's aliens or monsters, that doesn't go.
Yeah.
That's PG-13.
Not only that, it's not like there's any like realistic animals. It's not like you're seeing like cats and dogs get hurt.
These are alien.
It's all a bunch of CGI
created
nonsense.
beasts, yeah.
But I mean, there's things are dying and getting their spines ripped out.
I see
They're
what
just
you mean.
not
It's
people.
still violent, but it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's like this.
How about
It's
that?
just because the story didn't call for any, you know, realistic violence. You know, so I guess in that sense, it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, sci-fi action. But isn't that bizarre though? Because I mean, the intent is still there.
That is really interesting. No, I didn't know that. It makes me. Yeah.
You know, Yautjas, you know, predators, they bleed like the bright green, you know.
That's right,
There's
yeah.
no red blood. It's all just like, you know, paint. So I guess it doesn't matter, even if there are real actors playing the the characters underneath
Yeah.
all this makeup. But
That is interesting.
but yeah, there is a lot of violence, and there's no swearing because again,
They're in a
there's no
different language,
humans.
yeah.
The Yautja has subtitles, but he doesn't swear.
We're not swearing.
It's not like the subtitles are like, it's just, let's kick some ass. No, he's like, I must honor my family and bring back trophy. It's very like, he's, very like Viking.
He's got the honor code. Yeah.
I actually really like that too, because this movie made the Predators more than just like big game hunters. You actually got to see kind of like what they're all about, and it does kind of have that like sort of Viking like honor in collecting the get what is owed to you kind of a thing, and like that sort of thing, and like the ridiculous pride system they got going on over there. It's really fascinating. And I guess, now since we actually hear them speak, they actually had like the same linguist that like helped with like Lord of the Rings and came up with the Dothraki language in Game of Thrones, helped
nice.
create the Yautja language. It kind of, to me, it almost sounds like Japanese or something like that, like when he's talking, but it's very like, very like, back of the throat, like the I'm probably butchering the hell out of it, but it did give
Kinda
me
Klingon?
Yeah, I was gonna say it did give me huge Klingon vibes. I think Sam said the same thing too, and
I would say, even through a screaming baby, the movie was rad.
Good movie.
yeah.
Screams added to the background.
But yeah, just if you're familiar with like Klingon stuff, like it did even like the whole like father son thing, it just like felt very Klingon.
It's about family.
It's about family.
Very nice. Well, I'll be honest. I'm getting kind of tired, so I'm down to kind of wind this down. Unless you had any other final thoughts you wanted to share.
I'm so tired.
No, it's all good. I feel like we've covered it. So I guess just to recap everything, you should try Megabonk, and you should watch the new Predator movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, on that note, thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Hope you enjoyed our random range of topics. It was cool.
Sorry,
Very much-
the camera adds like 20 pounds, I never, like, I think we need to do this standing up, Chris, because every time I'm sitting down, I'm like all squashed and my belly's
All right,
out.
fit check. How do you look standing?
All right, let's see.
We got to wait for the camera to catch up. You guys probably aren't going to... Yeah, you look thinner. We'll do it
see,
standing
the
next
jacket
time.
up,
It does look a
looking
lot
good.
better. Yeah. Well, next
Try to
time.
sit straight, but I can't. I have to slouch because I am ill-tempered and bad-mannered,
Yeah.
But, anyways.
Well, let...
Peak male physiques.
You're too kind.
No, my doctor says I need to start walking after meals. It's true. It's actually 100% true. Anyways, no, I'll be fine, probably. But anyways, Chris, how do you want to wrap this up?
I was just going to say thank you guys for tuning in. And hope you were enjoying just our random range of topics today. But yeah, I guess just make sure you give this video a like on your way out. Rich, would you like to sign us off with like a subscribe voice or something?
Please subscribe. It's free and easy. Just like making sure you tell all your friends and neighbors and dogs to subscribe. Hooray! I mean,
It's just like
You'll get a live
You need to walk.
just like when your doctor tells you you should walk after meals.
Well, on that note, we hope you all have a wonderful day.
Kitty.
We hope you all have a wonderful day.
Oh, and an even more pleasant tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. See ya.
Ooh.
And...